Good morning to you. 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Want to give you a live look here at several locations. Great over here to your left, a downtown Indianapolis skyline, and nice and warm this morning. But kind of a recurring issue in two locations. We've seen some traffic issues this time of the morning. So Lindsay's got you covered on that.
Yes, it's a little warm out there, almost eerily warm as you get your morning started.
Oh, doggone it.
You know, I'm just saying, I am usually not a complainer about warm weather, but it felt weird this morning.
Well, it feels real weird, and that's for a reason,
Okay.
ladies. This is the last full day of winter. It's going to go out like a lion. It's creepy out there right now. We're not supposed to be around 60 degrees at this time in the morning. In fact, we're not even supposed to be at 60 for a high. So that shows you we do have some storms on the way and a weather impact alert morning. But let's accentuate the positive. I'm not going to knock 58 degrees in the morning on a day like this because it does feel good. And as you head off to work or school, no problems. 59 in Carmel and in Martinsville, 58 in Shelbyville. Now let's get to reality in a deep area of low pressure. I mean, this thing is really deep. In front of it, very warm weather and a surge of air out of the Gulf. In the back, you've got this storm so strong that the Weather Service has issued a series of blizzard warnings for Omaha, Nebraska, just west of Ames, Iowa, Rochester, Minnesota. 1 to 6 inches of snow, 65-mile-per-hour winds. But again, we are in front of this. We're not going to get that type of weather, but the winds are going to howl. Already in Kansas City, we're at 68 degrees. Remember, 68 there, and 100 miles away, a blizzard warning. They have 43-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that bodes of the wind that we're going to experience here later today. I think our gusts could reach 45 miles per hour. You'll need an umbrella. Maybe not. Maybe a raincoat. I don't think you could hang on to the umbrella, but 67 for a high today. And then as these storms start to roll through here, end of the evening rush hour especially, we're going to have some heavy rain and the potential for damaging wind gusts. A low tornado possibility, but we never take that out at this time of the year. Today's high 67. More on this the last day of winter in a bit, but we've been watching this area on 31, Lindsay, and we still have an issue up there, right?
Still not reopened yet, and it was estimated to reopen by 6 o'clock this morning, so a couple-minute delay here. We'll see when they do reopen it, but as you can see, we've still got that truck blocking the lane of US 31 northbound. That would take you the ramp to 465 westbound. So all lanes of 465 westbound have reopened due to some overnight construction that reopened about an hour ago. So we're still awaiting the opening of this ramp, so we'll keep you posted when that does happen. Should be momentarily. Also, this ramp back open here, 69 southbound to Benford Boulevard. This is a look at the northeast side. All of these travel lanes are back open as they're going to be doing some overnight construction work as well along those interstates there on the northeast side of town. No delays right now. If you leave your house, looks pretty good all throughout the metro. Just about a 1-minute slowdown if you're traveling northbound on 465 up the east side.
Thank you, Lindsay. Let's turn to Hendricks County now, where the town of Pittsboro is moving ahead with those plans to clear 600 acres of farmland to bring in a new industrial data center.
Now, town councilors, they voted on this development last night, but they were also met with some frustration from a lot of residents who have lived there for a while. Matthew Foltz is in this morning with more on last night's meeting and really some of those concerns residents have.
Yeah, this is a story, Julie and Jalea, we've covered for months now. Several meetings leading up to this unanimously approval. Residents now believe it will do more harm than good and push more people to move somewhere else. Now, the plan will allow Vantage Data Centers to come in and build a 285-acre data storage facility. This is a company that operates 35 data centers across the 12 countries. The center will be built north of Pittsboro on the former Smith family Farms lot near County Road 1000 and County Road 500. Last night, residents packed the town council meeting hoping to have their concerns heard. However, public comment was not allowed. Many community members walked out after that vote, including Lindsay Grimes. She tells 13 News the data center will just take the town's resources and won't benefit residents in the long run.
I moved here 4.5 years ago to escape exactly what they're doing again. And I just keep moving further west. So you think this will be a great boon to your community? I think a lot of your community is going to end up leaving. And they will sell off and you'll put more warehouses and so on and so on and so on.
Now, despite being close to homes, representatives with the project say the center will not have any negative impacts on property values. Now, right now, there's still no time table really on when construction will begin. That's something we'll continue to work to find out. Meanwhile, coming up at 6:30, you'll hear from one of the town leaders and his thoughts on this hot topic.
Yeah, but it's got to be frustrating to feel like you had an opportunity to speak and then to not feel like you were heard by town leaders. So we'll keep following this, Matthew. Thank you.
Well, this morning there are more teenage students in Morgan County coming forward accusing a former teacher of sexual misconduct. 31-year-old Brittany Fortenberry has been in the Morgan County jail since her arrest last month.
And since then, 5 more victims have come forward with more allegations. Prosecutors have asked to file up to 24 additional criminal charges against her, including 10 counts of child molesting, sexual misconduct with a minor, and 13 other charges for disseminating material harmful to minors and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Court documents show that all of the teens reported that Fortenberry would send them nude and explicit photos and even videos on Snapchat, and at some point forced them to have group sex at her home in Martinsville. We did speak with a child victim advocate who says it is so important for parents to talk with their children, even about these difficult topics.
What we just encourage is that parents kind of ask that open-ended question and they give their children a chance to speak, and then they praise their courage at that time rather than asking them questions about what they did or why they didn't tell.
Well, we are still waiting to hear back from the prosecutor's office about when the new charges would actually be filed. IMPD is now investigating a deadly crash on Indy's near northeast side where we know that one person did not survive.
This happened around 5:15 last night at 32nd and Keystone. Police say the crash involved a UPS truck and a motorcyclist. Officers have not said much about how this crash happened, but we do know the man on the motorcycle died.
Police say the UPS driver did stay there on the scene and has been cooperating with investigators. They do not believe the driver was impaired. Well, 2 people are now pleading not guilty in connection to a deadly crash that happened in December of 2023. 13 News was in the courtroom yesterday with our cameras rolling following Bradley Woods, who is accused of causing this crash while intoxicated and leaving the scene. Paige Woods, his wife, is charged with obstruction and is accused of picking him up from that crash site right in the middle of the investigation. 20-year-old Avery May was killed in this crash. May's girlfriend was seriously hurt.
Some curse words and other offensive messages were spray painted on the side of a church on Indy's west side. And you can even see graffiti on the bus here on the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. This is near 16th and Tibbs. The building and bus were both tagged. We did get these pictures from a church member. She tells us this happened last night before a community meeting. IMPD says they're now investigating, and the pastor at that church we talked to last night, he actually spoke on Facebook Live as well to his congregation, thanking those who've reached out to the church to help them.
Again, I want to thank everybody that came and supported us, and those that have called. We've received calls from everywhere, all across this city and state, and for that we are grateful.
13 News has been following this story for weeks, where graffiti has also been seen around several homes and businesses in the Hallville neighborhood. Community leaders say they are working with the city to try and find those responsible.
Well, there are now 5 people under arrest accused of breaking into a vacant historic Jewish temple here in Indy to shoot a music video, police say. They responded to a burglary in progress at Beth El Zedek Temple Saturday night. Indiana Landmarks provided these pictures of the temple. Court documents state that officers detained a group who had guns, as well as a suspect who they say tried to run away from the building. Officers found a broken glass door inside of the building, as well as a camera on top of that door and several pieces of equipment. They took all of that into evidence, as well as the gun they say they found. We know that 4 of the suspects are facing charges of criminal trespassing, and a 5th person is facing a criminal charge, a preliminary charge, I should say, of the same crime. Officers said they did detain 7 others, but they have been released.
Coming up on 6:10 at the State House this morning, the debate over immigration enforcement is now back in the spotlight. Lawmakers on a Senate committee have made changes to a bill that lawmakers in the House already passed.
It's House Bill 1393 that we're talking about, and it deals with two possible scenarios. An officer arrests someone on a misdemeanor or a felony and takes them to jail, or gives them a summons to appear in court. Now, in both cases, if the sheriff has probable cause to believe that person is here illegally, they are required to call ICE, who will then take over the investigation. The debate right now is how probable cause is determined. The bill's author, Republican State Representative Garrett Bascom, characterizes the bill as standardizing a process that county sheriffs have testified they are already doing.
But what about before? Well, what goes into a sheriff or jail staff determining probable cause that someone could be undocumented after they've been arrested or charged? Bascom says that comes from questioning during the intake process. So many who testified yesterday believe this bill would lead to racial profiling.
I do not want to be profiled. Neither does my mother, neither does my sister, teachers, and everybody else. It does increase it.
This bill will undoubtedly foster racial profiling. The standard of probable cause is most troublesome and inherently subjective and will lead to judgments based on appearance, language, proficiency, or accent.
What do you want the standard to be? You don't like probable cause, so what should it be?
Senator, I would leave that up to you and the members of the committee.
So a lot of heated debate on both sides. Only two groups testified that they were actually neutral on this bill. That's the Indiana Public Defenders Council and the Indiana Sheriff's Association. The bill will now go before the full Senate after it passed out of committee yesterday. It's 6:11. Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, Jalea. Folks, today is the last day of winter. Tomorrow, it's the vernal equinox at 5:01 in the morning. That's when the Earth's axis is tilted neither toward or away from the sun. It's the beginning of spring. But we're going to end winter like a lamb with some severe weather potential. Showers, thunderstorms, damaging winds. I'll have the timeline for you coming up.